Welcome. So this is going to be fun. This is new for me. Kind of doing a class through Zoom where we're like making the art too. So, and I see we've got a few different folks on there. I have one my grad student. It looks like Miranda's there. Give a wave, Miranda. Yeah, and then we have. Looks like maybe it's Elizabeth and Candace, Robin, Barbara, Cheryl. Hopefully that's sometimes I know you use someone else's account, but if you would like to unmute at any time to talk or ask a question, please do so. I don't mind at all. I like to be very conversational. So anyway, today, I thought we would go through making some little books and then talk about some ideas of storytelling. There's lots of resources out there on bookmaking, YouTube videos and things. Let me put my email in the chat, or I might have Miranda do a few things in the chat at a point too. So I'm going to put my email in the chat, Lori Santos at wichita.edu. And if you would like to get more information, some handouts and things about bookmaking, I'd be happy to do that and send that to you. I put together just a real simple kit. You probably have hopefully you have your kit. So what I would say is let's get it out and take a look at it. So hopefully everything's in there. It's in a needle here. Okay, so you have some random art supplies, pencils and markers, colored pencils, glue, a map of the sculpture collection at WSU, and some different paper. Oh, this is a program from the Ulrich Art Museum. You should have two kinds of thread, like a bluish color thread, and this is actually artificial sinew. So you should have that. You should have a needle. I'm trying to see if I can, maybe it needs a darker color behind it, huh? So you can, sorry, I'm a little klutzy. I dropped it. Yeah, and then maybe you could see it there. I put it on. And you probably have some like random squares of different colors of paper. You can set those aside. I just kind of like set things up in front of you, so you have everything kind of laid out. You should have 6 pieces of this is like a high quality drawing paper. It's acid free, so it's really a nice little paper. You should have 6 sheets of these squares, and then you should have 2. That's another kit. 2 of these sort of 4x4s. I keep tricking myself because I have my phone on so that you could see stuff that I'm doing down here, and then I keep wanting to raise it up and hold it up. So apologize for that. I'll try to, like I said, this is kind of the first time doing this, and so I'll try to get in the groove here. Then you have another piece that's kind of a long folded piece, and then you have this like sort of popsicle stick looking thing. And what this is going to be is sort of our makeshift bone folder. A lot of bookmakers use a bone folder, which is made out of bone, and basically it's a really good tool to help you with creasing. But in the classroom, a lot of times we try to do what we call teacher hacks and do some things a little bit more inexpensively. And so this will serve as our bone folder to help us with our creases. So, and you should have a pencil. with an eraser. I think I used up my eraser. So some of the books that we're going to make. One of the books we're going to make today it's called the Lotus Fold book. And it's kind of an accordion style book. As you see, let's see if I can get the direction. Which is the best spot here? There we go. This one's kind of a really fun one. Here's an example of one that one of my students made, and they put some different things on the inside with art elements, things of that type. Let's see. Another one. There we go. Seem to be missing my other sample that I wanted to show you of the Lotus book. Okay, another book we're going to make, another accordion style book. And this one's got a lot of different kinds of paint and things on it. But it's an accordion style, and it's got some different kinds of cutouts in it, which I think will be kind of fun to play with. Here's a real simple accordion that's done just with one piece of paper. And here's just a cute little pocket book that's a little signature book. So, and then you can do stuff. This is kind of one of the first ones we're going to make. And then the last one we're going to make, there it is. This little tiny one. So I don't know what your level of doing things with bookmaking or folding. Maybe you can see larger in Lori's work screen. Oh, that's a message from the library telling us how to pin it. Yeah. So I'm just curious if you want to type in the chat, tell me kind of what's your experience with making books, maybe even like working with paper, art, things of that nature. It'd be really cool to learn a little bit about what others have done, and even some ideas about, you know, what your interests are in terms of bookmaking. Some origami in the past. Some Candace says no experience making books. Level 0. Oh, good. I'm glad that we've got a lot of beginners here, because that's pretty cool. Because it's very basic, some of the things that we're going to do, and so I want it to be sort of a beginning, kind of meaningful opportunity for you to get excited and then maybe get into books a little bit more. Take your first strip. Listen, as I'm kind of talking, you see the first long strip? Okay, I gotta go that way. I'm learning how to use this. Okay, the long strip. Yeah, Miranda, hold it up too. So Miranda's gonna be my second little mirror there. So it's already folded in half once. And remember that our sort of makeshift bone folder, you can use it to help crease. That's really an important thing with bookmaking, is that matching up those edges and doing your creasing. So now I'm trying to move some junk out of the way here so you can see my paper. So I'm just working with this one, and we're going to fold it back on itself again towards that edge that's already creased, the open one. And then I'm going to use my bone folder. I guess I'm going to call it a bone folder, even though it's not a bone folder, right? And then we're going to flip it. Oh, we got some sewing experience. That's good, because we're going to do a little sewing on this one. Okay, and then we're going to use our, you see how that really kind of helps to make that crease really nice. Okay, now you've got a little bit of an accordion happening. Okay. Press that really hard, make it, all right, because what we're going to do now, and you can even go back on itself, back and forth, zigzag. Let me know if I'm going too fast for anybody, back and forth.
Yeah, Lori, could you, I saw that you folded this one back and then I missed it. What did you do after that?
Okay, I just folded it back on itself, back and forth a few times. So if I have my paper all laid out,
Okay.
and I'm folding it back in, and then I'm just folding it back and forth,
Okay.
back and forth. I gotta figure out where is the zone here of where I need perfectly be so you can see my folding. Okay, so the reason why I'm kind of folding it back in and on itself is because we're going to tear it. Okay, so instead of cutting it, kind of the cool thing with bookmaking a lot of times is that book artists will do things where they're tearing rather than cutting. Sometimes you want to cut, sometimes you want to tear because you want that deckled edge. So if I laid this all out, I've got that nicely done. And then if I putting my finger right up at the top and really holding it close to that edge that I've really folded it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it kind of loosens up the grain of the paper. And then again, I'm going to do it. Can you all see that? So I folded this back and forth, back and forth. Now I'm down to my last one. And I'm going to pull it apart. So now I have 4 sheets of paper and I'm going to fold it again. So I'm going to fold each one of these in half again and match up my corners, and I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of make that crease really nice. We're not going to tear this one. We're making what's called a signature in bookmaking, where you have a group of sheets of paper together. So I'm got that one. Sometimes I fold it and then I do my bone folder. And another one. Okay, so we got 4 of those. All right, now move this a little bit out of the way. Uh-oh, what happened to my needle? All right. Right there it is. Sorry. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this green paper and keep telling myself to put my needle right on top of that so that I don't lose it again. All right, now that I've got those folded, now if you have a ruler handy, and also I forgot to mention, hopefully you have scissors, because you will need scissors. I think that was listed in the information when you signed up, and also just some extra random collage, what we would call collage material, like magazines or newspaper or whatever that you want to cut up, if we get to that point. And any other extra art supplies is good. So if you want to, if you do happen to have a ruler, and it's important to you to be really precise, then you can use your ruler. These little handmade kind of mini books, I'm just eyeballing it. So I'm going to go in the middle first, sort of eyeball it, find the middle, put a little dot, and then I'm going to put a little dot in the middle of those two. Okay, so I don't know if you could see that. So I could hold it up to that too. So I've kind of put that in the middle and then in the middle on the sides. And what I'm going to do is take my needle and poke a hole through it. And when you're poking the hole through the needle, with this, it'll be pretty easy. For me, I just kind of rest the needle kind of on the, here, maybe put it on the edge like that in the crease. And then I've spaced my fingers out, so I'm not going to poke my finger. And then I pull it and then just push. Or you know, if you don't want to do that, then it's good to have, like, if you have that magazine or some other extra pieces of paper, something that you could just set it down and poke through. Okay, so now that I've done that, that becomes my template. And so I'm going to put this paper or this signature, and then I'm going to, I can draw the holes again if I want, or I can just poke directly through. Okay, and then I'm going to do that again, put the next signature underneath, and I'm just going to poke through. I don't know if you guys can see that. It seems like there's a lot of, I wonder if I shut those shades and have less bright light, or I put a different color underneath. Ow, don't poke yourself. I just poked myself.
I think it's pretty good lighting, Lori.
Is it? Maybe it's just I put a paper underneath instead of the white so that you can see the paper better. And that needle's really sharp. It has a blunt end on it. But when you're poking, it's pretty sharp. I just poked myself. Ow. Okay, now by the time we get to the fourth one, you can't, it's getting a little hard to poke them all through. So I'm going to take one off. I'm just going to use one. Through. Okay. Okay. Now, for your cover, what I want you to do is to take one of your kind of, I guess they're sort of rectangle type pieces, kind of like in there. Does everybody have one that's about this size? I hope you should. This, pick whichever color you want, it doesn't matter, and fold it in half. You're going to be folding it at half, not skinny, but more on the, like a book, or sometimes it's called hamburger because it's fatter than folding it the skinnier on the longer end, which is called hot dog. And get your bone folder. Okay, now you're going to fold it again in half. So on the longer side, match up your edges. Okay, so now this is going to be your cover. And good idea to take the one of your signatures and oops. Oh, sorry about that. Somebody was just trying to, I'm using my phone as the kind of camera. Someone just tried to call me. And make a, I think so it doesn't slip. I'm going to draw the hole. I'm going to draw through my holes. And so then I'm going to poke through. And be careful, you don't poke yourself. So we're able to kind of do this with a needle because we're just using paper, but you know, when you start getting into thicker pieces of paper, there's a tool called an awl, AWL, excuse me, that bookmakers use, and that will help you to poke holes, and it has kind of a nice thick handle on the end, so when you're pressing into it. Okay, so now we're going to put all these together, put them in the middle, put all those signatures together, fold it in half, get your bone folder again, kind of help crease it down. Okay, now what you need to do is take your thread. I'm going to use the thread for this one. So you got a long piece of thread. Let's undo it. So how many of you read the book? Have you finished it? I'm honestly, I'm almost done with it. So did you like the book? Tell us what you like about it. Ugh, mine got a little kinked up here at the end.
It looks like we're getting some answers in the chat, Lori.
Yeah, you want to read them off for us, Miranda?
Sure. Elizabeth said, I finished it. Candace also finished it and loved it. And Robin said almost.
Almost. So what kinds of themes do you think that the book brought up for you?
Oh, and Barbara finished it and enjoyed it as well.
I'm working on my thread. Okay, so I'm going to thread my big eye needle. Okay, you only just need to leave a little bit. I don't know, that's about 4 inches or so. Okay, we are going to start with threading through the, I'm going to share my screen here and show you a picture too as I explain it. Sometimes we need to see a picture too. Okay, share screen. Okay. Oop, not that one. Do you see that one? So we're going to thread from the outside cover down in through the middle. Okay, and then you're going to go loop it around. You're going to go through, and then you're going to out. You're going to go over the whole back of the cover, back in through the middle, and out again. Okay, so you want to do those all together. I'm going to try to get, sometimes you have to kind of use your needle to sort of poke your holes back through again and get them. I'm poking my needle back through those holes again to make them a little bit more easier to thread through. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing so I can go back to my middle. Okay. Oh, I just figured out how to do that. So to pin it so that I can see myself better sewing, you might have to just do them. It's not cooperating with me. Okay. This doesn't seem as eloquent, but I'm going to get it going here. I'm poking each one individually. Okay, now I'm going to line my book back up. This worked so much better when I was making my little sample. There. Okay, now I'm pulling it through, all the way through. Okay, now when you get to this part, this long part here, leave it about twice as long as this book is on the end, at least. Does that make sense? Okay, and then now I'm going to go sew the rest of it. So now I'm going to go through on the middle, or the right side, sorry, from the middle to the right side. Pull it through. Okay. And now I'm going to go all the way over to the other side. If you have to move your papers a little bit, to get everything. That's okay. And pull it over. Okay. Now I'm going back through the middle. Can you imagine? And they had to hand make books all the time. Wow. What the artistry of it is just amazing. To have to hand stitch books together. Okay, so we got that through and tighten it up. Okay, you want it probably about, if you, hopefully I cut you enough string on your kit that your string should be about twice as long as this whole thing, the whole length of your book cover, and cut it. And I've got two big long pieces here. Split them out, put one underneath that middle part, middle thread. Okay, again, make sure you tighten it up and tie it off. I'm going to do it twice. Okay, and you go fold your book up. My, I don't know, when I cut these, I don't know why this, well, I don't like that sticking out under there. Here's my little sample. It should have been flush, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think I didn't line my papers up right, but guess what? I'm just going to cut it with my scissors very carefully. I'm going to trim it so I don't have, so if you have any that's hanging over it, there we go. Now it's inside my book cover. And I've got the big long pieces right here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is twist them around opposite each other. Twist them around opposite each other and tie them off. With a little bow. Ta-da! Oh, I got my little pocket book. Here's the other one that I made. And you can, we'll come back to, you know, and you may have to do this on your own, but you can decorate your cover up, do whatever you want with it. Add some little beads or buttons or pictures, or you could even like do some things with decaling the edge of this. Let me share my screen again and show you just real quick. This again and that's just a little simple example, and they put like a little, let's make that bigger. I thought that was a nice, just little simple one where the book cover, you can see it's twisted around. And there's another, like you've got other papers. So if I wanted to cut another piece of paper and, you know, put something, I have to take my string off though, but make it long, just to show you real quick and to glue it in there. You know, see how that's making an edge there. You could glue it on there, cut it off. And you could slip one on that side. Untie all this, you know, and then when you're decorating it up, use your markers, do some different things on that if you want. I'm just going to do that one real quick. Oh, messy with the glue. I'm gonna put that one on there. Oh, here's the cover of Circe. I'm gonna get so on the front cover, I'm gonna copy Circe real quick. So you can do whatever you want on your little cover. Miranda, you can, Miranda's my graduate assistant and awesome artist. You can maybe show them what you're drawing on yours. Circe's a little more long-faced on this.
I'm still a little behind, Lori. I just finished looping the thread through. I got it. I was looking at the picture you put up. That was very helpful. But I got a little lost.
The string.
Yeah, you said to loop this around opposite.
Yeah, opposite each other, like one this way and one the other way, so that
you can go around the whole book, like the pages this side.
Yeah, close your book.
Okay, close it.
And then you're gonna let your strings dangle.
Okay. And should I cut it off the sewing needle now?
Yeah, go cut it off your sewing needle. So you have, here's my, here I started drawing my little Circe face on the front of my mini book.
That is so cute. Let me find some scissors really quick.
So here I've got my long strings dangling on opposite sides. And I'm gonna flip it around. And I'm gonna flip it around opposite each other so that then I can tighten them up and tie them.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if anyone else wants to show what they're doing on their cover,
it's so cute.
Be cool. If you want to be brave, that's okay. If it, you could just. I'm just doing the Circe picture just because, that's our featured book, but what would you might, what were some of the, what's a theme maybe from the Circe book that, what's a word you could think of to describe Circe? Anybody could put in the chat. What are some ideas you might have?
Water, herbs, or a loom, plants, nature.
Herbs, loom, plants, mother, protective. Yeah, lots of great stuff on there. So yeah, this could be your little nature journal. Your friendship poems. Power, feminism, power words. Like, so what are some power words that you could write in here inside your book? So plants, ooh, little drawings of little plants, or, and it doesn't have to be, if you're not a drawing person, you can, certainly write inside your little book. Kind of fun to start turning the pages, huh? So here's my, oops, I got glue on it. I got glue on Circe's faces. So let's see. I'm just drawing some random stuff here on my book. Okay, where's my little Circe book? Okay, did everybody get that one done yet? Anybody want to be brave and show us your little book? How about you, Miranda? Did you do anything on the cover?
Yeah, one sec. I'll show you. I'm finishing up a little drawing.
Okay, she's doing her little drawing. My Circe looks sort of frowning. I'm gonna fix her face a little. Maybe upturn her. Make her look like she's smiling a little bit instead.
She looks kind of cautious in the front cover, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I guess she does. Her eyes are in her mouth, but I kind of want to make her not so.
Yeah, maybe change that eyebrow.
Yeah. So, all right, well, you can give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on to our little Lotus book yet, or if you still need to finish your little cover. So I see where folks are at. Thumbs up. I got a thumbs up from Robin. You know, the cool thing about this little simple kind of book design is that you can make this out of anything, any kind of little recycled materials. And if you've got kids, grandkids, fun little activity to do for the family. And this one with the 3-hole stab binding is a really easy one to make, I think. With little kids, younger kids, if you have like a hole punch and things like that, you can make the holes bigger. And you can also get these needles that are plastic needles, so they're not as sharp. Okay, so we're gonna move on to using these squares. Which is this one. What's your favorite part of the book? Does anybody have like a favorite? I was talking with a friend of mine. She's actually a book artist. She's pretty cool. Makes a lot of really great stuff. And she said her favorite part was when Circe turned a bunch of, and I guess I haven't got to that part, but I'm pretty far in the book. I must have missed that part. But she said she turned a bunch of guys, men into pigs. You know, she has all those pigs on her island. So she thought that was pretty funny. Anybody have a favorite part? So while you're thinking about that, you're gonna get 5. We're gonna use 5 of these. The last line. So okay, I haven't got there yet. So all right, so we're gonna fold it in half. I guess we call it that hot dog style. Get our bone folder. Okay, open it back up, flip it, fold it in half again. Get your bone folder. A little tip too, when you're using your, when you're folding, it is better if you go from inside out and not try to just do it this way all the time, because especially if you don't want your paper to shift and get uneven. Okay, you're going to open it back up. So you're folding it half, so it's quarters. One, flip it, one. Okay, now, once you've done that, you're gonna flip it. Okay, and you're gonna fold it on a diagonal. And you gotta match up your bone folder. Now this paper is an archival heavyweight mixed media paper. So if you have watercolors at home later on down the road and you want to do anything with that, you can. Now, all of a sudden, after you open it back up, it folds right in on itself. Did you see that? Okay, so we're going to do that 5 times. Get your bone folder again, though, once you've got it like this. And even it out. I'm getting distracted looking at myself, confusing myself. I think I'm going to leave it on just on this one for the moment so I can focus on the folding. Okay, so we've got our square again. Fold it in half. Hot dog. Oops. I'm going to make sure my edges, press it down in the middle and then out. Getting a little ahead of myself and it slipped, so it wasn't going to be even. Okay, open it back up. I'm going to turn it and do it again. So you got quarters. Line it up. Use my bone folder. Okay, flip it open. Okay, now you're going to flip it. Okay, flip. Reason why you're flipping it is because it makes it really easy to get it back, get it into this little folded down piece. Okay, so we're going to fold it. Get our bone folder. Okay, and then when I lift it up, it just starts to fold itself into that. Okay, all right, that's 2. I'm going to keep doing that. We're going to do it 5 times. So match it up. Open. Match it up. Okay, so what do you think? Was that fair that they sent Circe to that island? What the heck? Flip it and fold it diagonal. Did they? They were just quite scared of her, I guess. It was kind of interesting to see her sort of come into herself, right? Into her own power and understanding and not, you know, being empowered rather than feeling powerless. I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so we're going to fold that in on itself. Another time, got another one. I'll fold it in half. How's everybody doing? Am I going too fast? Open, flip it.
Elizabeth said, great, number 4. Candace said, good so far. And I personally got a little bit behind, but I'm a terrible multitasker.
Okay. Okay, so you're folding it in quarters like that, and you're flipping it, and you're gonna fold it on the diagonal. Okay, and I'm starting from the middle, just kind of pressing down to get it started. And then I'm using my bone folder again, middle to and out to get it all nice, and then it just folds in on itself. Use my bone folder again to remember we're doing this accordion. Okay, one more time, I think. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5. Okay. Folding it in half. A little off there. Okay. Okay. Open. Now I'm going to fold it in half again. I'm going to open it, flip it, fold it on the diagonal. That diagonal one is the kind of the tricky one. For me, it seems like I get that corner, match up that corner right there, and then come to the middle here and sort of pat it down, middle out, so that I can then do my bone folder. And I lift it up and it folds in on itself. Give it another little crease. Okay, so we've got, so you have 5 of these now, these little lotus type folds, and you're going to end up doing them opposite. Let's see if I can make this make sense. So this one is pointing up. You see this? Oops, wait a minute, there. This one is pointing up as I'm sort of, and then I've got one, we got another one, and I'm going to flip it to match them up so they're opposite. So it's pointing down. The open end is pointing down. And so I've got this closed in corner onto an open end corner. And then I'm going to glue them. Does that make sense? So I'm going to get my glue. And I'm going to put glue right up to the edge all over. And I'm going to put glue on both of them, not just one. Okay, now I've got the other one. Put glue on it. Okay, now, again, we've got one of our little lotus flower folds open, pointing up, and then the second one, that open area, I'm pointing down. Okay, so when I join them up, one's up, one down. And I'm gonna match them up. Line them up as best you can. I think I got it finally. Okay, press it. Okay, so hopefully everybody got that. So now I got, oops, there. All right, so now I'm going to keep doing that. So one open up. And then the next one that I glue is going to be the open is facing down. And I'm connecting those corners up. Okay. Putting glue on both sides. Okay. Now, again, one up, one down. Match them up. How are we doing on time? Uh-oh, we gotta go faster. Keep gluing, keep gluing. Glue on both sides. Okay, one opening up, one with the opening down. Match up my corners. Press down. Okay, last one. Glue all over. Okay. All right, one up, one openings up, one the opening down, matching up my corners. And rubbing. Ooh. Okay. So one of the reasons why I put the Ulrich stuff in there also is because, you know, if you don't have magazines and whatnot for images and things to cut out, you can't cut this up. Also so that you can see some of the cool stuff that's happening over at the museum. But here now we've got our Lotus book too. See how that opens. Get the best position. So all right, now your Lotus book, your cover, you want to decide, you know, which one is your cover end, and you have two thicker, heavier weight papers that you're basically going to end up gluing on each side. So that becomes your cover. And it is going to stick out a little bit, which is okay. All right, so you want to put your glue on one side all over. And this one, kind of just do towards the middle. If you have a ruler and you want to line up your edges, you can. Sometimes when I'm working small like this, I just tend to eyeball it. So I'm going to center it the best I can on there. Let's look at it. If you want to do what's called registering it, another option would be to put your use your pencil, you know, when you put your, before you were gluing, put it on there and, you know, make your little marks So that way you can line it up. I'm gonna line these up actually that way for this one because I'm gonna pat it down and make sure these are lined up. And then I'm going to very carefully mark with my pencil the corners of my pages inside there, so that I know that they're going to kind of line up from where I put it with this one. So that way when I put my glue down on that, I can get it covered. And then when I put glue on this one, cover all. Be generous with your glue. Because you don't want it to come apart, and then you also need to, press really well. Now I got to line back up with my marks, as well as I can press it, down, tap it down, so I can see that I'm lining them up. Press hard. Flip it, press really hard. Whew. Okay. Now pull it back open because you're going to get some areas that might stick to each other. So you want to make sure you pull those apart. And it's better to let it kind of dry open. Okay. So now we're kind of at a stage where you can decide some things that you want to do on the inside of your book. And then the next one opens, and then the next one opens, and then it closes. So it opens like that. There's one page, another page, oops, and another page. And the book has two sides to it. Now I'm flipping it the other way. Did you see that? Which is kind of cool. So this is a cute little accordion book that one of my students made, using Millie, who's on the cover of your little map from the Ulrich collection, the outdoor sculpture collection. There's all kinds of really great stuff out there. And so they did a project where they made the sculptures come to life. And so this story is about Millie talking to her grandkids, and she says, she decides to tell them a story. When I was young, I was thinking about who I was and what I wanted to be, and I'm going to tell you a story about this. And so the grandkids are listening. She says, I was uncomfortable with who I was. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I was excited to find that out. My first step was expressing myself. It's kind of fun how it sort of reminds me of, thinking about Circe and trying to find herself, right? I wanted something that set me apart, something exciting, but I didn't know what. So how did Circe set herself apart? She kind of didn't make some good decisions though at first, right? I decided that my appearance would be the thing to get excited about. It was always plain and I wanted newness. I went to many stores and tried many things, shirts, pants, scarves. None of them worked for me. But then I walked into a shoe store and the owner said, we know the perfect thing for you, shoes. I put on many different exciting pairs of shoes, and then I realized as I got older something very important. Kids, what you wear or what you look like does not define you. If certain things make you happier, then take hold of them. There you go. So that's one student's interpretation of Millie kind of thinking about the Circe story. Here's another one. One more I'll share with you real quick, because you want to think about what you want to do with your, my thought is for you to think about, you know, some themes from the book, from Circe, and then basically applying it to one of the sculptures at the museum collection and creating your own little story. But, you know, ultimately you can do whatever you want with your books. Those are your books. Millie loves expressing herself, especially through art, but wishes that she could express herself in other ways. She thought maybe fashion, but oh no, Millie doesn't have any clothes to wear. She tried on different things. She tried a hat, it was too small. And she tried a shirt and it was too tight. She also tried pants, but Millie had too many legs. Millie tried some shoes. It was just right. So Circe tried a lot of different things, didn't she, in the story, to try to figure out what was just right for her. So I don't know, what could you do with your book? How are we on time?
What time does this go till, Lori?
I was thinking, I wasn't sure. I was thinking, somebody says, keep going.
Yeah, we're learning a lot.
I was thinking it was only an hour, but you know, we can keep going a little bit. I guess we must, what do we do with the long piece? So the long piece, the bigger long piece, is we're going to make that into an accordion book like this one. So this one, this big long piece is already folded in half. Now this one's could be a what's called a pocket accordion. So here's another storybook from the collection, and using another one of the pieces, When the Wind Took the Women's Umbrella, sorry, not women's. And it's a pocket one because it has stuff on the inside and then it folds up and then folds in on itself. But you could have like things inside the pocket, little treasures, you know, think about all the little treasures that Circe had. So this is the umbrella sculpture, which is, if you look at your map, this one right here by Ferdinand, and it has the woman and the man and the woman. And so that's a story about that. But basically, we're doing an accordion fold. So you have it open and you're going to fold it in on itself. And then I always like to flip it and then fold it again in on itself. And go fold it back. Okay. And so this is just a short little book. Now open it back up and you're going to fold walk the bottom up just a little bit to make like a pocket. Okay, so sort of like a third of the way up maybe. And you want to line up your creases so that you know you're getting this straight. Line up those creases. Look at that edge over here before you kind of press it down. Those creases and that edge. Okay, kind of pat it down. Get your bone folder or bone, bone folder. bone folder. I forgot to use it when we were doing that. I'm gonna do that. Fold it in. Now, the reason why I gave you a whole bunch of different colors, by the way, is because you can use that for collage, you know, your bookends, making little characters or things. Like for this book right here, I can make like a little, the umbrella. I'm gonna make the umbrella here real quick. Just sort of eyeballing it with the time. There's the top of my umbrella, and I'm gonna grab another color. The bottom of my umbrella. And put my umbrella in the pocket. That's a huge umbrella. So anyway, what else could I make? You know, if you were doing the book on, what would be fun on this Millie book is, she didn't do pockets on this one, but if it had the pockets, like making the different, where's the one with the shoes? And the clothes. Here it is, sorry. This one with the different fashions, like have a little hat, and pull a little hat out, put it on Millie, and then so on. Could even have her, you could do a pop out part, her legs could be sticking out. You know, if you have an X-Acto knife, that'd be real fun to cut out her legs so that they just stick out just a little bit. So you have a pocketbook now. And so again, on the front cover, it's just a short little pocket storybook. You've got different covers, pages for colors if you want, that you can glue on each end, and they should be approximately I measured them so that they'd be approximately the right size, but I'm going to trim mine just a little bit so it matches up just a little bit better. Because sometimes when I'm cutting these in with the groups, it doesn't line up exactly. Okay, so what kind of story could you do on this one? The other fun thing to think about with your, let me show you for this one, to make a little closure. I'm gonna glue this one on here. I'll glue that. Don't go back and forth. I just bent my paper doing that. One direction with your glue. That was a bad technique, trying to go back and forth. Not a good idea. All right, there we go. Put my cover down. Okay, so I want to put, so I've got my paper here, and I'm going to make like a little closure here where I'm going to have this glued like here on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to just glue put a little bit of glue on the top, a little bit of glue on the bottom. And I'm taking a red, I'm gonna make another little strip my book. And I'm going to put this one, glue it like that, about halfway. An inch of glue. Oh, I better see where it goes, right about there. Press it down. And now I've made like a little, I made like a little closure for my book. So we'll keep it closed. Okay, so I'm going to open my book up. Okay, I can think about, okay, what can I do with these pockets? I could put stuff in them. I can cut things out. Hey, someone said something about plants and nature. You could do some little, press some little things in there, little flowers or something. That might be kind of fun. You've also got some spaces up here at the top where you can do things. I'm going to share my screen again. I want to show you this picture of these accordion books of how you could do like some really creative different things. I just pulled up a couple of pictures of the accordion books. Okay, here's a cut. Now this one right here has just a straight accordion. Do you see that? My cursor going around, and this one has ties on the end. So then when you just kind of like which you can use some of the sinew, or if you have more thread. There's some other things I thought we could do with that sinew. Look at this one over here. You see how the top of it is cut zigzag like a house? So you can think outside the book, so to speak, like outside the box. So your book doesn't have to be a regular book shape. It can be different, and perhaps I might want to do something with it where I make an uneven edge or do something different up here. So I'm gonna draw something real quick. Maybe let's see. I'm gonna make some shapes. Kind of, I don't know what this is gonna be. Oh, I will. And so on. So I only drew it on one, and then I'm going to fold it over onto one, and I'm going to cut. If you have an X-Acto knife, that certainly works a lot cleaner, but so now I have this crazy top part on my book. Oops, my glue. Remember, be generous with your glue. See, I didn't get enough glue up there. So I'm gonna have to re-glue that. Boom. There. So, stop share. Oh, look at this one, how there's like things flipping down on it. Okay, so I'm gonna open my book up. Oh, you know what? This one just like came off right there. Well, you just have to work with it. So I'm snipping it off. Okay, so you could do different things with the inside of this. It has pieces coming off of it. You see this pocketbook, things coming out of the pocketbook, things glued on here. I made this one is a little smaller one, but I wanted to show you this little piece right here. I'm gonna stop share. That has like a little faux weaving started for paper. It's a paper weaving. And so I thought about that because of the Circe book, you know, she works with the loom. So if you wanted to try something like that, like a little bit of weaving inside that, the way and this one has a pop out right here. So the way I did that, here's my page right here. So basically, I need to have like a straight edge. Where's my pencil? Oh, I'm using one of my other colors. I think my pencil rolled off my table and rolled right. I need an extra piece of paper. If you have a ruler, that's great, but you know, you can eyeball it. So I'm gonna fold this one paper in half and use that as my guide. And I'm gonna center it on the fold. Here's the fold of the book. I'm gonna center it on the fold and I'm gonna draw a line. Okay, and then I'm just gonna slide it down very carefully, making sure I still keep it lined up. And make another line. And I'm gonna slide it down again. And I'm sort of eyeballing it just to make it about the same. But again, if you have a ruler, you can mark those off. I'm gonna keep doing that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna do it like 6 times, I think. 5, 6. Now I did that drew those lines through the crease. So now I have scissors instead. If I had an X-Acto knife, I can just cut those lines. But since I don't, and I'm using some real basic, simple tools, I'm going to fold it back on itself. And I'm going to use my scissors and line it up, very carefully cut each one of those. Okay, so now I've got a bunch of little warps happening here, right? And now I need to take some colors, so get some different colors. Your collection of colors, or it could be whatever you want it to be, as far as like if you have magazines. So here's I've got 2 colors. You can do however many colors you want, and I'm going to cut some strips. And I'm just eyeballing it. A few different strips. Now I'm going to weave it. So I'm going to start going over, under, over, under. Just back and forth, back and forth. And each time I do that, it's going to be, I'm going to start opposite. So here's this one is going under, over, under, over. I'm just going to go under. Okay, and now I'm going to pull it to the edge. Now we're going to be weaving like Circe. Okay, now this one's going to go opposite. So I'm starting from the back there, and then I'm going over, and now I'm going under, and now I'm going over, under, over, under. Oops. Oh, wait a minute. I messed up. Over, under, over. Oops, I messed up right there. Back up. Under. Now over. Now under. Tricky. Now. Okay. And I'll try, when I get ready to glue them after I'm done, I'm gonna cut this off and glue it on that back side so I don't know if you like the tab sticking out, you could leave it. And now I'm going to keep doing that every other one. So please share. I think we had it listed for 4:30, so we are at 5 minutes past, but we can go a bit longer if everyone wants to. Yeah, I'm fine. We can still keep going until about 5. So what questions do you have? You know, what ideas do you have of ways you might want to use any of your little books that you made? We didn't get a chance to make the one little tiny one. I'd be happy to do this again too. You know, this is the first time I've done a class in doing the virtual thing like this. Usually, you know, it's in person. So lots of fun little ideas of little kind of books to make. And the ideas of bringing in a course, since I work at WSU, you know, with the collection. So you can enjoy looking at those images of the collection of sculptures, the outdoor sculptures. Great little fun thing to do for the family and friends, and it's outdoors. And there's also an app. So if you go to your app store on your phone, you can look up the Ulrich app. And when you walk around to each one of the different pieces at the sculpture collection, it tells you a little bit about it. And it gives you that a little tour. So it's kind of fun. But maybe what you might like to try with one of your books is take your family over to the sculpture collection. Probably wait a little while. Man, this cold, right? And you could do a little tour and take your book with you, one of your little books, and draw some pictures or write some notes about the sculptures in your book. Or you could do something like with the Millie story, you know, thinking about some of the different themes from Circe. You know, here's a story of Millie being characterized, you know, sort of this idea of growing into herself, you know, finding her own happiness. And, you know, like this other one with the shoes too. So could you make up a story? Okay, so folks, we're going to have to wrap up. Let's see if you have any last minute questions for me. You've got my email as well. I'm doing this, I'm finished this. I'm gonna just stop there. I'm gonna fold my little pocketbook up and put my little closure in. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed making a bunch of little books, and if you're interested in doing more, I know we didn't really get to to all of them. I guess I planned too many ideas. So be happy to if folks want to contact me again through email, and we could have another session down the road. So any questions from anyone?
I think you were pretty good at explaining things, Lori. You can tell that this was fun. People were really engaged, and we've gotten a lot of great comments about this. Thank you so much for your presentation. And as she mentioned, her email is lori.santos@wichita.edu.
Yeah,